Hi there again, the Space Hacker here. The week just passed was filled with exciting developments in SpaceX's Starship, including an FCC filing for a return to launch site landing of the Starship booster. NASA's CAPSTONE mission to the Moon provided a lot of drama. We'll preview a historic moment as NASA prepares to unveil the first full-color images from the James Webb Space Telescope later this week. And a fascinating look at the asteroid Benu. And finally, a pair of Starlink missions to cap the last 7 days. First, let's have a look at what's happening at Starbase and Starship. On Tuesday, Ship 24 was rolled to the launch site to start its testing program in preparation for the first orbital flight of Starship. SpaceX released this breathtaking photo of Ship 24 while on its way to the launch site. Just look at the size of that thing. For scale, here's a person walking on the road. We love making these videos for you. Please give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. In the next photo, we see Ship 24's simple but cool looking livery. Notice that those hexagons aren't painted on the ship but appear to protrude from the ship. They almost look like the tiles used on the heat shield. What do you think they are? Tell us in the comments below. In this awesome render from Earth Space, we see Starship with a United States and NASA livery. Here's another cool shot of Ship 24 arriving to meet Booster 7. The next day, Ship 24 was lifted onto Pad B to prepare for its static fire test. SpaceX is racing ahead and losing no time to prepare Starship for its orbital flight test. Meanwhile, another behemoth, NASA's Space Launch System, is also getting ready to launch no earlier than August of this year. Which do you think will launch first, Starship or SLS? Post in the comments below. On July 8, SpaceX filed a new application for a Special Temporary Authority or STA with the FCC for a Starship orbital flight. An STA is granted to allow the temporary operation of certain radio frequencies in certain situations, such as an experimental orbital flight. What's interesting about this filing is a change in Starship's flight profile. SpaceX mentions an option to return to the launch site and be caught with the launch tower. This was not an option in previous filings. Those had the booster perform a partial return and land in the Gulf of Mexico approximately 20 miles or some 32 kilometers from the shore. This is exciting news. It shows that SpaceX is seriously considering a catch by the launch tower. Whether they do it on the first orbital attempt remains to be seen, but it's so high risk to do it on the first try. The STA, however, is valid for 6 months if it's approved, so we'll see. One mission that may have caught your attention last week was NASA's lunar mission CAPSTONE. After a successful deployment from a Rocket Lab rocket on the 4th of July, CAPSTONE had been performing normally when an improperly formatted command was sent to the spacecraft, which temporarily made its radio inoperable. CAPSTONE's onboard flight software should have detected this and rebooted the radio, but it didn't. Without the radio, CAPSTONE was silent for the next 43 hours or so, and repeated attempts by the Deep Space Network to raise CAPSTONE failed. The world thought we had lost CAPSTONE. But on the morning of July 6 in Colorado, the mission team started receiving signals again from CAPSTONE and were able to confirm that the spacecraft was in good health. On July 7, the team successfully performed a trajectory correction maneuver to fine-tune CAPSTONE's flight towards the Moon. So far, CAPSTONE is looking healthy and is on its way to the Moon, arriving on November 13. The big news for this coming week is the unveiling of the first full-color images taken by James Webb Space Telescope on the 12th of July at 10:30 Eastern Daylight Time. The telescope was launched in December 2021 on an Ariane 5 rocket and entered orbit in January 2022. Since then, it had been undergoing checkouts for its instruments. On Saturday, NASA released the list of cosmic targets for Webb Telescope's first images. Check out the link in the description below. Keep an eye out for our update mid-week as we bring you images from Webb Telescope. The Osiris Rex spacecraft revealed something interesting about the asteroid Benu. After collecting samples through a touch-and-go maneuver, scientists were surprised to learn the spacecraft's sample collection arm sank almost half a meter into the asteroid. This was deeper than expected and confirmed that Benu's surface was very weak, deforming under stress like a fluid. Stepping on the surface of Benu is like stepping on a plastic ball pit. Osiris Rex is scheduled to return the samples it collected from Benu in September 2023. On Thursday, SpaceX kicked off what will be a busy second half of 2022 with a Starlink launch. After a routine countdown, the Falcon 9 rocket launched into clear blue sky, with its booster having flown for the 13th time. A few minutes later, the booster re-entered the atmosphere and landed on the drone ship Just Read Instructions, positioned some 412 miles or 664 kilometers downrange in the Atlantic Ocean. This batch of Starlink satellites will add another 53 to the more than 2,700 already in orbit. On Sunday, another SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket carried the first batch of satellites that will begin filling up the third Starlink orbital shell. This new shell is one of 5 planned for the Starlink constellation and will consist of 6 orbital planes in a 560-kilometer orbit. Once completed, this third shell will have 348 satellites. The booster re-entered the atmosphere and guided itself to land on the drone ship Of Course I Still Love You. For a launch schedule for the coming 7 days, on July 13, an Arianespace Vega C rocket will launch the LARIS 2 satellite for the Italian Space Agency. On July 14, we may see the launch of the delayed CRS-25 on another Falcon 9 rocket. This is a resupply mission to the International Space Station with a drone ship landing in the Atlantic Ocean. It's going to be another week packed with exciting launches and space events. Be sure to stay tuned.